Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all the B tiers or higher events that happened this weekend because there was actually 4 of them and 3 of them were in Japan. You had Tamasuma Kyokkan, you had Sumabato SP, you had Shinosuma Heroes, as well as having Patchwork in the US. So we're going to be going over all those events as well as touching on some of the many C tier events that happened this weekend. And the first 2 events I want to mention are actually C-tier events that happened this weekend, and they are going to be Aloha Beaches and Grand Slam. Technically, Aloha Beach happened last weekend, but the top 4 was actually done this weekend. I'm not sure why, but regardless, you're going to have both Ouch and Big D being in the grand finals for this event. So both these players were in the grand finals at 2 different regionals in one weekend. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and Ouch is going to win both of them. So just shoutouts to Big D and Ouch in general. They are by far the strongest players from BC, and they've just been making names for themselves at the regional level. Now, we haven't seen Ouch get into a top 8 this season yet. Again, yeah, I think he will be doing that very shortly. It could be at GOML. Same thing for Big D as well. He didn't do amazing at Battle of BC, but he's had some super pop-off runs. Both the guys, they're clearly staying active. They're still farming at the regional level, so I'm really excited to see if they can bring it to the majors. But Ouch wasn't the only player to win 2 regionals this weekend, as you also had SkyJ winning Delfino Mazda Infinity Cup over players like Hobby, Cloudy, and Diegod, and he also won Road to Smash Factor X over players like Cloudy, Law, and Hobby. SkyJ has been amazing at the regional level. That is where most of his best performances are from, as well as having those really good runs at Summit, at Collision. But at Genesis, he falls a little bit short. Battle of BC, he gets a nice 17th place. And overall, SkyJ's just been farming this season. I mean, the level of the consistency that this guy gets on Incineroar is really unparalleled, and I honestly don't think it'll ever be challenged. There will never be someone that uses Incineroar as well as SkyJ, and I feel pretty confident saying that because when you look at the results that he's getting, they are just incredible. And we have just 3 C tiers left. You have Tarek winning Brussels Challenge Major Edition, once again cementing himself as one of the strongest players in Europe, definitely within their top 10 right now. And I know that seems even a little bit low, but Europe has been leveling up massively lately. You also have Glutony, who is back to winning European tournaments, winning Tenerife, and then finally you're going to have Eric42 winning Smash Odyssey in China. So this is going to be China's first event of this caliber. Going to be interesting to see if they become a major threat going later on into the life of Smash Ultimate, because if a scene picks up there, they definitely could become one of the best regions in Smash Ultimate. So really curious to see how that goes. Eric42 already on that meta of Samus. They've clearly figured out some of the good characters, and I'm really excited to see how it expands as a region. On to our first B tier of the weekend, which is going to be Shinosuma Heroes, which was also probably the tournament that had the most upsets. And just for reference, you had players like Neo, Yamanoction, Masa, Takai, and Reno all missing top 8 of this tournament. And the top 8 itself, you're going to have Eligo and Aiku in 7th. You're going to have Aka and Latte in 5th. Pasariman in 4th, Akasa in 3rd, Lax in 2nd, and winning the entire thing, you have Umeki. So big ups to those players that were able to upset the players like Neo, like Yamanoction. Those have been kind of consistent threats right now in the Japanese meta. They're always seeming to get into the top 8s of these events, and you're going to have names like Eligo, like Aiku. This is going to be their first top 8 at an event of this caliber, so they got to be feeling really good about these runs. Also, for the sake of this video, we're mainly going to be staying within the top half of these top 8s just for the sake of time. So if there's any player that I leave out at any point, please just let me know down below, and I'll be sure to tell you how their run was. But for the top 3 of this tournament, you're going to have Akasa in 3rd place, and he did amazing here. It's not often that you see Cloud players that aren't Spargo popping off at events, but he had a really nice run getting wins over players like Aka, Gachapi, and Pasariman, so huge shouts to him for that. You have Lax getting 2nd place with Chrom, which is insane to me. He's going to double eliminate Akasa as well as resetting the bracket versus Umeki, and even though Umeki wins it overall, an amazing run from Lax. I mean, 2nd place with Chrom in this meta in Japan is pretty crazy, but I guess if Chrom's going to pop off in any region, it would be Japan, because that is the region where every single character seems to have success. And then finally, you're going to have Umeki. I gotta say, it's really nice that Umeki gets a win under his belt. I feel like he's a player that is often in these top 8. He often makes runs at tournaments, but he's not always the one that closes them out, and he is an amazing player in Japan. One of their best right now, definitely the best Peach and Daisy player over there. In contention, honestly, with Mudace for the best Peach and Daisy player in the world because of Mudace's inconsistencies, but I'm going to be very curious to see how that plays out later on in the year, if Mudace is able to fix his inconsistencies, if Umeki's able to hit these peaks repeatedly, and honestly, I have a lot of faith in Umeki to repeat these runs because he is an incredible player, one of the most tech-savvy Peach players I've ever seen against Daisy players, and he's overall amazing. Super happy that he won this tournament. Post-editing proof block here, I just forgot to mention the characters for some players. You have Latte on Pac-Man, EQ on Peach, and Eligo on Youngling. So another Youngling player that we have to worry about in the current meta. There are so many people having success on this character. Also gonna have Lax with a secondary Sora. So while the Chrom is still definitely the main, the Sora did put in some work in the bracket, so you gotta give it the mention, though I'm still going to call this a Chrom run, of course. But Sora, a character that, like Chrom, you don't see a ton at the top level, but unlike Chrom, Sora is very, very good. So curious to see, maybe Lax actually starts shifting his focus towards the Sora. Not that he really needs to, because the Chrom-Sora combination is still clearly working, but a very interesting combination at the least. On to our next tournament of Tamasuma Kyokkan number 3. In 7th place, you have AK Hanyu and Obi. 5th place, Shion and Now. 4th place, Seattle. 3rd place, Hurt. 2nd place, Shutone. And winning the entire thing, you do have Tsubaki. Now, the title of Best Mario in Japan only gets more and more interesting as you have Now being outplaced by Seattle at this event. Now, this is the first time we've seen them pop off super hard in the 2023 season, so Seattle is definitely not going to be that #1 Mario in Japan just off of one tournament run, but it's another name to throw in the ring. When you already have Now, you already have Snow, and on top of that, they're not even in contention for the best Mario in the world, because that goes to Kurama. Like, this character is so successful at the top level right now that maybe there's something I'm not aware of, because it seems like Mario is farming everywhere. Also, I want to talk about the characters that were actually in this top 8, because they're very interesting to me. You're going to have Obi, another Japanese player, having success with Yoshi. I mean, you've got Yoshidora, obviously. You've got Ronda. You have Obi. Like, there's so many good Yoshis in Japan, and it feels like just in Japan. So clearly they know something about this character that we don't. I think Yoshi's really good, by the way, and I feel like a lot of people aren't coming to that consensus, but Japan is a little bit more ahead on that Yoshi meta. You have AK Hanyu as well, getting top 8 with Dr. Mario. You have a Doc getting top 8 this weekend, and a Chrom getting top 8 this weekend. Like, that's pretty insane. You have Shion getting 5th place with Zero Suit. That's a character that you never see at the top level anymore, so that's a nice new one. You have Hurt getting 3rd place with Snake. Now, Hurt isn't the best Snake in the world right now. He's definitely the best Snake in Japan, and I think he is in contention for the best Snake in the world, Apollo Kage. Again, I would still give the title to Apollo Kage right now until Hurt is showing up at the major level, but to be honest, I think it's only a matter of time. He just really hasn't had the chance to prove himself because he has been farming these regional events. He's been looking absolutely amazing. Really excited for Hurt's next major because I feel like he could pop off super hard. You're going to have Shutone in 2nd place at this event. Now, Shutone getting 2nd place, you're probably more surprised that he didn't get 1st, to be honest, because of the players here, you definitely expect him to win, but that actually went to Tsubaki, who not only won the event, but 6-0'd Shutone in winners finals and grand finals. He won this event dominantly, at least over Shutone. Hurt was also able to take Shutone game 5, so you got to give huge shout outs to both those players. I mean, Tsubaki, when he did really well at Japan 24, I thought this guy was the future of Japan. Now, I still think he is the future of Japan. It just took a little bit for him to cook, but he's finally at that peak level. We saw him do amazing at Subageki. He was able to get a 3rd place there, and off of that performance, he's able to get a huge win at this event. Again, 6-0ing Shutone is a feat that most people in the world cannot say. So if you're excited to see Joker back in the meta, then Tsubaki, he's your guy. On to our next tournament of Sumabato SP40. In 7th place, you have SSSR and H4. 5th place, Suna and 33 Parent Box. 4th place, Snow. 3rd place, Jogabu. 2nd place, Ray Raccoon. And winning the entire thing, you had Yoshidora. Now, some notable players that didn't quite make the top 8, you had Senra, Alice, Level 1, Karage, Shirayuki, Kanarabe, and Osimo, just to name a few. Osimo ended up getting 13th place, losing to Crete and Jogabu. He lost to Crete really early on in the bracket. Shouts to Crete, he got a 13th place here. Amazing run from him. I mean, you beat Osimo in any bracket, and it's an amazing run. But Osimo, he still does make a very nice loser run to get his 13th place, but it's definitely a placement that's going to be hurting his season. Osimo got a handful of those 13ths now, and even though he starts off really strong and still has a bunch of top 8s throughout the season, when you have so many lower placements in the 13th, some of them are at the major level, some of them are at the regional level. The regional one is definitely not going to hurt as much, but it doesn't look great on your ranking season for sure. I also want to give a huge shout out to H4 and 33 Parabox because it feels like at these Sumabato events, these guys have gotten so much better in a very short span of time. I mean, you have H4 winning one of these events. You have 33 Parabox who's been getting a bunch of big placements and big wins, and he hasn't really been getting those before. So big ups to both of those players. You have Suna as well getting to the top 8 of this bracket with Greninja and Roy, two characters that you really don't see at the top level anymore. I mean, Greninja, you never really saw. You still do have Greninja players obviously having success. I mean, you have Tarek winning a regional this weekend, but Greninja is not a character you see a ton of the top level, and Roy, especially in 2023, we've been seeing a bit of a drought with this character. People have not been finding as much success, so big ups to Suna for that run. You have SSSR. Rob is a character that is very popular worldwide, but to be honest, in Japan, you don't really see a ton of the character. This is probably one of the more notable runs that they've had in 2023, so big ups to SSSR for that. In fourth place, you're going to have Snow, who's able to beat players like 33 Parent Box and Komei. I think I forgot to mention Komei for notable players that missed the top 8, but that's another one just to add to the list. I mean, there is a ton of them, but Snow's been looking like the best Mario in Japan these last couple months. Towards the latter half of the season, it's definitely been his. He's been performing at the regional level, not so much at the major level, but even still, he's got a couple good placements, just no top 8s yet. Again, big emphasis on yet because the way he's been playing these regionals, it feels like it's only a matter of time. I mean, he has been looking simply incredible. Definitely the best Mario in Japan as of late. And I'm curious to see if he's able to hold that title into the latter half of 2023 and maybe officially take it from now. You're also going to have Jogabu with a monstrous losers run. He is able to beat Futari, Osimo, Komei, SSSR, Suna, and Snow to be able to get third place at this bracket. Just looked absolutely incredible, and he is undeniably the best Captain Falcon in the world. I don't really think it's been an argument. I think the only person I could maybe see have arguments for it would be Andric, even with his performance at Patchwork looking pretty good. But I mean, Jogabu just has so many wins under his belt. He's done this at the major level. He's done it at the regional level. He's done it at every single level of Smash because this guy is just incredible. He could beat so many players. It really feels like he could beat, honestly, anyone. And saying that with Falcon, it's pretty impressive. Also, I just forgot to mention it, but Suna was actually the person that sent Jogabu into the loser side of bracket, so he even got revenge on the person that beat him, just making the run that much better. In second place, you're going to have the run of the tournament in Raricoon. He was able to beat Atlas, Crete, and 33 Parabox. Again, Crete was able to beat Osimo earlier in this event. That's an amazing win. And as well, once in the top 8, he's able to beat Suna and Jogabu. And he's the only person in the tournament to be able to take a game off Yoshidora in the grand final. So big ups to Raricoon like that, making sure that everyone didn't get flawless. And this is another player in Japan that's been having success with that combination of Luigi and Steve. And it's a really good combination. When you have Steve and any character, it's going to be a good combination. But Yamanoxians also had success with that. So I think this is definitely something that we're going to continue seeing doing well in Japan. And another person to kind of add to that list of best Luigi in the world, because there's so many people love it. Now you're going to have both him and Yamanoxian using a secondary Steve, so it's a little bit harder to gauge, but you have Waka, you have Luigi, you have Gaga, you have Kirash. A lot of these players aren't really traveling to any event, so it's kind of tough to see who is the best Luigi. But when Raricoon is getting results like this, and if he's able to replicate results like this, he's probably going to steal that title of best Luigi. And our first place is going to be Yoshidora. And as I said earlier, he won the event while only dropping one game to Raricoon in the grand finals. And it makes sense. He is the first seed of this tournament, but it's just showing his consistency. It's kind of flexing it. I mean, he's looking like a top 10 player in the world this season, potentially like top 15 area at worst. He has pretty much no flaws, has a really good performances at majors. And now when he's winning regionals like this, I mean, it's only going to help your odds to get top 10. And we have our final event of the weekend, as well as our biggest event of the weekend in Patchwork. In 7th place, you're going to have Rocky and Toast. 5th place, Andric and Shiny Mark. 4th place, Peanut. 3rd place, MVD. 2nd place, Ling. And winning the entire thing, you got Mutes. Now, some notable players that missed out on top 8. You had MPG, Loaf, Omega, Death Spade, Kobe, MK Big Boss, Moxie, Goblin, Sen, and Cosmos. Cosmos, who ended up getting reverse 3-0'd by Lucky, the Piranha Plant player, who got 17th place. You also had Smump with a really nice loser run, beating players like Key and Omega, who ended up getting 13th place. I mean, the low-tier characters just popped off so hard this weekend across the world. In 7th place, you're going to have Rocky and Toast. Rocky adding another top 8 at a regional this season. He's actually got a couple of those under his belt, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. He's able to get wins on players like Web JP and Goblin at this event, only losing to Ling and Peanut. So Rocky got to be feeling amazing about this. That title of Best Pac-Man in NA is kind of up for grabs. It's probably between him, JDV, and Sinji. And right now, I probably lean more towards JDV just because that Battle of BC run is incredible. But if Rocky keeps getting regional performances like this, maybe even takes it to the major level, I could definitely see him taking that title of Best Pac-Man in NA. You're going to have Toast as well, who, speaking of title for the best character, him and Kobe were both at this event, and Toast was going to overperform here. Now, this happens all the time. Youngling players, they just trade events back and forth, but Toast hasn't been to a ton this season. This is going to be his first top 8 at an event of this caliber. He was able to get wins on players like Regalo, Moxie, Lol, Yoshi, and Omega, so an amazing run from him. In 5th place, you're going to have Shiny Mark and Andric, starting off with Andric, who was able to get wins on BV, Big Jigs, and Moxie. Andric at the regional level has been looking amazing this year. He only has 2 majors under his belt, one of them being Genesis, where he does okay. Level Up Expo, where he ends up getting a 17th place. Pretty good there. And since that run at Level Up Expo, he's been looking incredible. 5th place at DreamHack San Diego. 3rd place at Wave Dash, beating players like MK Big Boss, Chase, Capitancito. And then again, that 5th place at Patchwork. He's the only player in the world that I would even say is in contention for that title of Best Captain Falcon in the world alongside Jobu. I think there is a clear gap between those 2 players and the rest of the Falcons. Andric, I need to see him at a major event because I feel like he would absolutely tear it up. Speaking of people I got to see at the major events, we have Shiny Mark also in 5th place with wins over Danny, Vendetta, and Sen. That Sen one especially impressive because like Ness is a fairly tough match for Pikachu. He didn't try any secondaries this tournament. No Lucina, no Pet, at least from what I saw. It was all Pikachu, and I mean, it clearly worked pretty well. Got double eliminated by the Peach players, Ling and Mude, so maybe that's a matchup to work on, but at least that's something that you know to work on. Oh, I lost to 2 Peaches? Okay, I'll work on the Peach matchup. Next time, I'll be stronger and stronger, and Shenmark is a player like that. He's always learning from his mistakes. He unfortunately just doesn't have a ton of opportunities to make mistakes because he doesn't go to a ton of events, so hopefully we'll see him attending things more and more, because I really think once Shenmark has the opportunity to prove himself, both Shenmark and Andric, we're going to see these guys shoot into the top 30, maybe even top 20 of this game. In 4th place, you have Peanut, 3rd place, MVD. Starting off with Peanut, who had an absolutely monstrous losers run. After losing really early on to WebJP, he's able to win 7 sets in a row, beating MPG, Was Pops Wrong for this, who had just beaten Kobe, Lucky, Kobe himself, Send, Rocky, and Andric before losing to Mutis. I mean, I love seeing Mega Man at the top level, and Peanut, he gives the best Mega Man gameplay in the world. He is so good with his character. Some of the stuff that he's doing just looks insane. And Mega Man has movement like no other character in Ultimate. Something just feels different about him, and Peanut, he's just such a treat to watch. I highly recommend you watch the Peanut sets because he goes for some ludicrous stuff. You have MVD in 3rd place as well, and speaking of ludicrous stuff, this run is unreal. He's able to get wins on Regalo, Goblin, MK Big Boss, and Andric before losing to Ling and Mudes. When I'd initially done my predictions for this video, I had him losing to Andric because I didn't think he'd be able to deal with the rush down, and while he almost got reverse 3-0'd, he was still able to secure the set. MVD looked amazing at this tournament, and honestly, I think he's kind of one of the unspoken heroes of the season because he also has a 4th place at CEO, 2nd place at DreamHack Dallas, 9th place at Level Up Expo, a 13th place at Collision. MVD's results have been amazing, and while he's no longer the best snake in the world, and I don't know if he's in contention for the best snake, I would definitely put him at the 3rd best snake, and being the 3rd best snake in current meta Ultimate is really good because there is a lot of reps of this character. And finally, we're at our top 2. Ling in 2nd, Mudace in 1st. You're going to have Ling getting wins on players like Mysterica, Loaf, Rocky, Shiny Mark, and MVD. But his biggest upset of the tournament has to be his win over Mudace. For reference, Mudace was the 1st seed and Ling was the 17th seed. And Ling 3-0'd Mudace, but not in the Ditto. He went DDD, which is just crazy to me, and it's crazy that it worked 3-0. In the Grand Finals, though, is a little bit different. You have Mudace and Ling trading games. You have Mudace winning the 1st game, Ling wins the 2nd game. We do it again until we get to Game 5. It's DDD versus Peach, and Mudace goes Palutena Game 5, wins Palutena DDD. Game 1 of the 2nd set, it's a blind reset, so both players have to randomly pick their characters. Ling happens to pick DDD, and Mudace reads it and picks Palutena, winning him the Grand Finals because the counterpick war was in his favor. And we got to talk about this losers run as well for Mudace because my lord, it is so good. 9 sets in a row. He's able to beat Shu, Cosmos, MK Big Boss, Toast, Shiny Mark, Peanut, MVD, and obviously double eliminates Ling. I mean, incredible run from Mudace. It seems like it was going to be one of those tournaments where he busted out early because Mudace is a player where he's a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes he's going to be falling out a little bit earlier on in the bracket, but he's also a player with such strong resilience, and he was able to make that loser run. Mudace, when he's playing at his best, is simply incredible. I really hope we get to see more of it. I hope we get to see him bring it to the major soon because it's mainly been at these regional events, which he's been farming, by the way. First, he wins Low Tide City, then he wins DreamHack Dallas. Now he's able to get a win at this event. Mudace has been looking in top form as of late. I'm really curious to see if he's going to be able to bring it into the majors. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, if there's any players I left out at any point in this video, please let me know down below. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Sports been absolutely. Thank you guys for everything. Be sure to sub and all that yada yada. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.